Welcome to yet another episode of the Nailsin Ratings, and once again, just finished watching Doctor Who. This will be the 4th episode of the 11th season, or series as they say over the pond. This one was called Arachnids in the UK. That's right. Spiders just in time for Halloween, which makes it rather perfect. This episode was probably had a great opportunity to be the best of the season, at least, so far, depending on what they do next. This is only the 4th episode, but started off fairly good, and of course, again, I refer to my bias here, where I expect it to be awful. And so when it's just sort of okay, wow, it was good. But yeah, so what was good? Well, the spiders were good. They looked really good, really cool. There were some scenes there where Graham and Ryan are being chased by the spiders, and that was cool. That looked really good. And a lot of the spiders attacking scenes were well done. The photography overall for this new series is excellent, and that's a new step that they've done, and they were mentioning that before the series even started in articles and what have you, and it shows. It's really beautiful to look at in that style. So the spiders almost saved the whole show because of their creepiness and menace and appearance. And the creepiness of it kind of harkens back to old Doctor Who shows where you would have the mysterious monsters and everything was really spooky, and you've got people being cocooned and all this sort of thing. It's really frightening, and that was good, and it gave a creepy atmosphere to the story, but it didn't really have a story, unfortunately. So there's some expansion on Yasmin's family a little bit here, where we meet them, and but might have been a mistake, because I'm beginning to think Yasmin's sister might have made a better companion, because in those small few scenes she outacted Yasmin. So did her father and her mother. So, and Yasmin, don't tell your mother to shut up. That's not nice. And of course, once again, Graham and Ryan outact everybody. They're just better at it, and specifically Graham, because, well, he's got the advantage of age, and that's always going to be the case. And of course, they touched on and quite rightly, he's dealing with his grief over the loss of his wife, which he hasn't had time to deal with, because it happens, and then suddenly he's whisked away on these interstellar adventures and all that, and then he finally gets home and it's all quiet and lonely. And that was well done, because even in death, her ghost is kind of still kind of criticizing all that. But look, it's the relationship they had, and so it's a convincing way of why he wants to be with the doctor, and it makes sense and it works well, and he probably makes more sense for him to go with her than the other two, except that Ryan has an attachment to him because they're family. So that would make, as for Yasmin, I don't know, it just says, well, her family disrespects her, and so she just wants to get away from them. Well, that's pretty extreme. Let's go into outer space in another time to get away from bickering at home. But they can't seem. They look like they tried to write up something for her, and all they did was introduce characters that seem to be more well-rounded than her. And so I don't know. I'm suspicious that Graham at some point is probably going to die. Probably his cancer will come back and he'll sacrifice himself or something like that. And they'll have a special Doctor Who. But, boy, this is rough. Maybe Yasmin should be the one. Seems a nice enough lady, but, But now Graham will probably be the one to have the death scene. And hopefully they'll let him go out in dignity and not ruin it by having him magically resurrected in some form or fashion, like they keep doing. A lot of things that were bad for New Who, it hasn't changed. They brought it over into this series as well. So So yeah, that all that stuff I just talked about, that was the good stuff. And now on to the bad. When I saw the spiders are going to be in the show, I thought, man, what if they would do something cool and link it to the Planet of the Spiders? No. No, why make use of decades of continuity when you don't even care about the continuity? And the series has done that several times. Not just classic Who, but within its own episodes. This keeps coming up. So once again, there was a throwaway line about the Doctor hinting as having been female sometime in the past. That doesn't work. It's already established. Did Capaldi's last episode. What? I know it was a different crew, but what are you doing? When you do stuff like that, you have to explain it. But nothing matters. So is the Doctor just lying all the time? I mean, what is that? Jeez. But yeah, so don't expect anything like that. So an idea of like Metabetus 3 and all that stuff. No, that's not going to happen. So the spiders, gee, where could they have come from? Well, of course, evil capitalist corporate assholes had toxic waste and didn't do the right thing. And so that somehow magically creates mutant spiders like a plot from a 50s cheap B movie. So that's it. So they're in this hotel that's run by pseudo-Trump. But there was a surprise here. Pseudo-Trump lives in a world where the real Trump exists and is president. So this guy intends to be the next Trump and is going to challenge him apparently in 2020. But in a weird way, they obviously want to criticize Trump and do a campaign ad, which is what the latter half of the show became. But accidentally, they actually made Trump was the better guy. I know that wasn't their intention, but, you know, it says, God help us if this guy gets in, you know. Well, if he does it, then Trump will be president again. So, yeah, not a whole lot of thought going through here. A lot of the episode, it looks like it was written by a child. Silly things here and there. And then, once again, like I said, there's a lot of bad things that haven't been abandoned from the new Who as it's been going forward. So remember Smile? That's the most recent one, where Capaldi's Doctor is lecturing victims of mass murder. Well, you got another lecture here after being terrorized by these mutant spiders. And then the mother of the spiders is dying because she got so big that she couldn't breathe anymore, which, I mean, she wasn't that much bigger. It seems like she would have had a difficult time breathing all along. How could she smash through that bath? She smashes through a bathtub at one point to attack Pseudo-Trump. And, yeah. So anyway, Pseudo-Trump shoots the spider. I mean, you saw that coming a mile away, right? So, of course, that happens so the Doctor can lecture him and say, he's a bad man, you're bad. And the spider dies, and they're all sad when just seconds ago they were terrified. But this whole thing, you can't hurt them. This is a new species and needs dignity and respect. And, oh, God. Are you going to save anybody? There's dead people cocooned all over the place. And spiders don't do this. Well, yes, they do. Have you ever seen a spider's web with flies in it? Now that they're large, you're the fly. They even say we're the flies. So this was supposed to be the scientist explaining everything to them too. So there's quite a few scenes where you have all the women tell the ugly, nasty man that he's ugly and nasty and a man. And we had to have a campaign ad. And of course, Americans, we had to have anti-American bigotry in the episode. Americans are all gun crazy and all that. It just very quickly evaporated into pure crap. And it's sad because this was almost, in my mind, a 3, maybe even 4 out of 5 stars show on atmosphere alone with the creepiness of the spiders. And but right off the bat, when I realized there's nothing alien or anything about it, okay. So I say, and of course, Pseudo-Trump is there, And they said, okay, he did something stupid. But I thought it might reveal that he had made some deal with aliens or something, you know, kind of like back. You can go as far back as Troughton with the guy who made the deal with the Cybermen and all that. Packer, and you know. So, I mean, since they're basically borrowing crappy old plots from 50s sci-fi B movies, why not reuse one of their own from there? So, but no, it's just toxic waste, because that's all capitalism does, and built over it in a plot kind of almost stolen from Poltergeist, but this time it grew spiders instead of mad ghosts and stuff. So there you go. The Arachnids in the UK. It's so since there were some elements that were good, but the bad elements were so bad. God, it's so bad. Oh, and more of Jodie's performance and her doctor and all that. It's just more of the same. It's kind of a watered down, badly done David Tennant impression. And then occasionally it's like very childlike, where she'll make these faces when she's, you know, mad and she was, you know, irritated with pseudo Trump. But the camera cuts away very quickly, like you almost miss it. And I'm like, did they do that deliberately? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, did it make it worse or bad? I'm not that impressed. And again, like I said, I didn't know much about Olivia Colman, but everybody was always, oh man, hope it's her. And maybe they were right. It should have been her. But so I'm not seeing what the audition, they said, oh, she was amazing in the audition. And I'm saying, what was it? So, but again, is that entirely her fault? No, it's not, because just like Capaldi, she's not getting any good stories. Not yet so far. This one could have been, I mean, in a lot of ways, very simple, but in some ways too simple, and just, you didn't have a plot really. It just evaporates and, well, let's preach, you know, Trump and Americans and capitalism and whatnot. You almost break the fourth wall. By the way, guys. Oh boy. So I like the spiders. I like Graham. I like the music. The photography's beautiful. 1 star for Doctor Who and the Arachnids in the UK. Say, thanks for listening and watching. Why not like and subscribe? If you don't want to, you don't have to. And hey, check out the link descriptions below for the links to my mini stores that have plenty of lovely goodies for you. That's right, you. Bye-bye.